Welcome to Warrior Class.
where the teachers whoop ass,
and you will too if you pass. This is part 2 to Our Blood No More, surviving mass shootings. So last week we went through the mass shootings that currently happen. There are hundreds already.
Yeah, bro.
Probably going to be more soon. And when we look at that, it's 200 and what was it, 225 or whatever it is. People are talking about 2. Where are the other ones taking place, and why aren't we being told? Right.
Yeah, they don't fit a certain narrative or picture.
Right, exactly.
Paint, so they're not getting publicized.
Right. These are the ones that will be more. Most are happening at elementary schools, though. But these are the ones that will be more. People crying for gun control. Gun control.
Right.
And things of that nature. There's no telling what the other ones are. I wish the other ones would speak out and say, but there's a lot of pain, with it, so people aren't saying much about what's going on. Could you hand me my bag real quick?
Yes.
So today we're going to look at some methods of self-defense. But first we're going to look at news. Do you have any news for us on me, Nikki?
No, not really. I mean, as far as Warrior news goes, I think the different developments in Uvalde, I understand it's pronounced now. We already know the police are not trying to protect us, so
right.
I know the Warriors know that already. As far as other news I've seen this week, I didn't really see anything that would really speak to us specifically. But greetings, family. And I also wanted to apologize for all the technical issues I had last week. I didn't realize that I had quite so many, but yeah. Trustfully, it didn't distract you because Baba was giving out some really great information.
Sure. Continuing on, we're going to work some techniques. Might have to move this camera around a little bit. But 3 things you have to do when there's an active shooter present. Last week, I wanted to be kind of, I won't say vague, but not just active shooters, because we're talking about really white terrorism.
Right.
That comes in many forms, but specifically today we're dealing with active shooters. Right. And when I say white terrorism, the person could look black. We're talking about your mindset. Absolutely. So some people saying, the shooter was a Hispanic, which Hispanic is a bullshit word. That just means you speak Spanish. That doesn't speak to your race or ethnicity really at all. It just talks about you speak Spanish.
Right. It helps people to not call themselves black who don't want to.
Right. Or white if it's not beneficial at that time. Right. Like if you want to get a college scholarship.
Right. You're not
and
white.
It's for non-whites. You're Hispanic. Right. or Native American. I love them specifically. For some reason, white folks love to say they're Cherokee. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. White people rape across the board in Native Americans, Africans. So I don't know why they picked Cherokee to take, but hey, that's probably from that song, Cherokee People, Cherokee Pride, was made by a white man. So they figured they'll link onto that. But so when we say white terrorism, that could be committed by somebody, doesn't matter how much of a tan you have, somebody with a white supremacist mindset or an agent of this white supremacist state, which means white supremacist world.
Right.
All right.
Anyone, just like the Matrix showed us, it's a movie, but anyone can be an agent. Literally,
Exactly.
anyone can be turned into an agent.
When we ask, what does a rapist look like? What does a murderer? It could be anybody. The same agent. Okay. An agent of white supremacy, of capitalism, same thing. Okay. So 3 things you must do when there's an active shooter in your area. You have to run, and it's not in any specific order. It depends on the situation. Run, hide, and fight. Run, hide, and fight. Okay. We'll do a run first. So when you run, and then maybe the main thing you want to do, you want to slow down first before you start. We say, well, we're running. We're supposed to run fast. Slow down your thinking. Pay attention to what's going on. Determine where the shots are coming from. With shots, a lot of times you'll hear it coming from the right. You're in the hallway, there's echo and stuff, but it's actually coming from the left. So you have to watch movement too. And I'm not talking about the herd. The crowd, they don't understand how sound works either. So they may all be running this way thinking the shots are coming from here. The shots are actually coming from there, just echoing. So watch. And you can watch them, just don't necessarily follow them. Don't follow the herd anyway, because that's who the shooter's going to try to pick off. Right. You're watching, the herd's running. Boom, you hit a shot there. You see somebody fall there. Shot's coming from there. So now you know for sure not to run that way. But now you got to be careful, because everybody's going to start running back this way now.
Away from you.
And you can get stampeded. So, these are things that, so slow yourself down. You don't want to run to a stampede, and you definitely don't want to run to the shooter. Now, I'll say if you are running, you're like, well, I just can't tell. I'm out. I'm running to what I think is the safest place. And the shooter's right there. Well, now you got to fight. That's why there's no order. You like, you don't just, hands up, don't shoot. Mm-hmm. You don't have a choice now. Keep that momentum going towards them. You got to fight. Okay. But you should fight with more than one person if possible. We'll get to that. So also when you're running, know your route. You say, how can I do that? It can happen anywhere. Most people pretty much frequent the same places. We're creatures of habit. So if you think about the places that you've been to in the past month, most of those are probably the same places. Same place to eat, same place to work, same place to worship, same place to Netflix and chill. Now, see, to me, that means something different. Y'all, I just learned from my students, Netflix and chill is a euphemism for messing around. To me, as Netflix and chill, I'm at home, and I'm married, so I could mess around anytime, but I'm married. I mean, I'm at home with my wife. We're watching on the couch watching Netflix, and we chilling. That's Netflix and chill to me. That's what I'm talking about. And one of the biggest students who says, no, it's so-and-so. He said, call my wife and show you. He calls his wife. She said, well, that's when we sitting down chilling watching Netflix, man. I said, yeah, thank you. And they're young. So it's not just because I'm old now. Old. Well, people say I'm old. I mean, well, I'm not old. I'm older. So Netflix, you're chilling at home or whatever. You're going to work. You're eating at the same places. Even you say, well, I like eating at different spots. It's pretty much saying I love eating at. I don't like eating at the same place all the time, but it ain't like we eating at 50 different restaurants at a time.
4 or 5.
Right.
Places, yeah.
And then I'm known for eating at specific. I won't name the coffee place, but I'm known for getting me some matcha tea. Right. So you're going to the same places, even if you think you're going to different places. We're not that much that unpredictable. Okay. So know the routes. If you're gonna be going to these places, take time to study them. Some people go to places, been going there for 20 years, they don't know the other exit in the place. Know those exits. You said, well, I can't tell. Man, you can, watch and you can walk around, you can look, and if you're in a restaurant, the other exit is all the way in the kitchen, that may not be a place you want to frequent that much. That's dangerous. Okay.
You can also ask. I mean, depending on how often you go to a place, you have a rapport with certain people that work there.
Right.
You might not want to ask the owner, depending on your rapport with them. But you may want to ask, "Hey, is there an exit in the kitchen? Is there a way?"
And you can tell them why.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were at a certain restaurant, and a lot of people were there. Right. Well, like I guess probably 10 couples or something like that. Single people there. I was there with my youngest daughter and my wife, and we're sitting, and I think I've talked about it before. People are walking by, but it's more people than normally walk by, and they got signs, and I'm reading the signs, saying different stuff. This was before Black Lives Matter, but it's got a Black Lives Matter-ish type of tone to it. And I'm like, dear, if I tell you we got to get up and go, we got to go, because there's a lot of activity happening. I'm seeing it, and it's not congruent to what normally happens here. So they're walking. I'm seeing more. I said, oh, shit. So dear, we got to go. And then you hear police, and you're seeing just scores of people. And that's no exaggeration. Scores 20, scores of people running, right? So I said, we need to go boxes and the check right now, just like that. So a waitress comes, she said, what's going on? I said, we have to go. We're getting out of here. Yeah, okay, I'm going with you all. What's happening? She could tell something was wrong too. I'm going with you all. People in the restaurant, what's going on, sir? Now, I could have just been like, nothing, my stomach is hurting. I'm out. I wasn't going to do folks like that. So I said, there's a lot of activity out there. That noise you're hearing, it's what's going out. And, people enjoying their food. They're not paying attention. But I am. So I said, we got to go. Not out the front door. There's too much happening out there. We need to go out the back. So the owner was like, the manager, the owner, she owns several, but says, we're all going with you. Wow. I said, okay, well, let's go out. How many exits you have? He said, we got this exit back here. We got this exit here. I said, well, that's the safer one. I said, we're going to go out there, run off to the left. So everybody says, yeah, okay. Everybody get their stuff. We sneak out. We go out. Everybody runs to the left. I grab my wife, my daughter. We go to the right, which is what my plan was anyway, and we run them back around to our car. If everybody went for their cars, we'd have been seen. It could have been a problem. We go to our cars, stay low, get in the car, drive. I said, do not drive up this main street. Drive around the side street. We took the side streets home. We look up one street, and there are probably 100 police cars out there. Wow. And they are jumping out, beating people's ass. It was crazy. So, I get the people out. Right. They can run to safety, but you ain't going to be with me and mine, right? So that's what we did. And sometimes you just got to get the people out completely to safety with you all the way. I didn't think that was one of those times. So it can happen, but we knew this place, I had scoped out. I knew the exit they were talking about, but no, not that one. Where's the other? There's got to be another exit in here. Besides the secondary exit. Right. And he said, yeah, it's through this kitchen. That's where we went. Normally, I don't want to go through the kitchen, but shit. So you go where you can be safe. Right, of course. All right. You had a hotel. That's got many exits. So, know the place. Know the place.
In a hotel, you can definitely ask.
And every time I go to a hotel, I walk around the hotel anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm with my wife, she'll be in the room, or like when I went to New York with Akinbobala, he had the room. I go out, I search the area. And if somebody want to go with me and search the area, they can, but I'm going to do it. I got to know where the exits are. Besides this elevator, is there another stairway besides this stairway?
Yeah, I always make a habit of, when I'm in a new city or a new area of a city, going around, not just, or I know you're talking about inside, like the hotel where you're staying, but I walk around.
That's good to know too.
Outside around the area to familiarize myself with the area.
Yes, because you may have to. You're running, and you want to know you can outside too run someplace safe, not into the hands of the attacker or your enemy. Okay. Know your route. When you're running and somebody's shooting and you know they're behind you, running a zigzag pattern. You're running and moving in a zigzag pattern that forces them to do two things. It forces them to change their windage. That's movement left to right. So when people talk about you're shooting with Kentucky windage, that means you're using just your eyes to shoot left to right. So your windage and your elevation, force them to change that. While they're doing all that, you got to change. You're running, you're getting low, coming up, and they got to change. That really slows them down. It makes it harder to hit you, and it forces them to think as opposed to being in complete combat mode. Because they're in combat mode, and they're trying to kill as many people as possible. You start making them think, aim, and all of that.
Right.
Doing all that, and somebody is running out the door, they'll go at them.
Mm-hmm. Or there's a crowd that they could be shooting at.
Right, because that's easier trying to get you. Like, God damn it. So stay low, all of that.
Def Rocker brought up a good point. Also, don't walk around New York like a tourist in certain areas with a map in your hand.
Well, that's too much. Yeah, you're looking at your phone, looking at the map.
Right. Yeah.
Also, when you're walking, if we're talking about active shooters, but periods, survival-wise, urban survival-wise, don't walk looking at the street signs like that either. That's obvious.
You don't
say,
know
that's a Vic.
Where you are. Yeah.
So you look at the street signs. I'm walking. I look up at the street signs. You got to give yourself 2-3 seconds, and then keep up. But don't move your head up. Just use your eyes at a distance. Say, oh, we're so as far as you can see. And say, oh, I'm on so. Don't point at it. Just okay, I'm on so and so street. Just think that to yourself. Okay, so and so, and I know I got to go to so and so. Or if you say I got to look up where I'm at, you say you're on that street, and you can even, God damn it, who keeps texting me? Something like that where who keeps texting me and you're looking up the shit. So you can do it that way as well. Okay, but yeah, try not to look like a tourist. That's called being gray. The gray man, gray woman. That also you have to dress like the area too.
Right.
Or you don't look like a tourist.
Mm-hmm.
I used to always tell my daughters when they were little, they go through this phase, except for me, who's my 13-year-old now. But when they were in that 13, 14, they want to wear heels. Down here in Atlanta. I'm like, I said, in Chicago, maybe it's different now. I have to talk to some folks, when I go back up. Because when I go up, I don't see people with heels on like that. Women who had on heels, you may say, well, this is, very biased. Okay, it's biased, but this is how it is. People think that and I say people, not just men, people think they're prostitutes.
Get out. Wow.
If you're wearing heels like a lot, they think you're prostitute.
Okay.
Unless you went like jeans with heels or something.
Right.
You got on a summer dress, something, you got heels, or they think you
extra.
They think you walking that stroll.
Interesting. My thing about heels is that they can be dangerous. I realize, and this is something that I just realized like this week, is I'm not going to go above a certain height and heel, because it feels like, to me, it feels like I'm walking on my tiptoes.
Mhm.
And how can
Always
that
feet,
be
yeah.
safe? How can I run? I probably could run. I mean, women who are used to wearing heels can run in them, but you can't get around like you can if you have on a lower heel or even just like a sneaker. So that's definitely
Another thing
something you
about
have to
wearing
think about.
high heels, when you run, I mean,
Right,
it's
noise. That too.
so
Right.
because I've seen women book it in heels,
Yeah.
but boy, if
And
you
then,
hit
of
some
course,
uneven
that's
ground,
what I was gonna
though,
say. Of course, it's a lot easier to lose your
you
balance.
snap that ankle,
And
you
and
know.
then
Now
that's
you're
it.
trying to run while somebody's shooting at you with a broken ankle or a sprained ankle.
Right.
Bad day.
So that's something to think about beforehand. The habits that you build, the
The way
things
you
that you wear.
dress, and
Exactly.
right.
Mhm.
Now, if you're going to a club, well, no, I was about to say you probably don't want to wear combat boots, but actually, in some clubs people wear combat boots. That they made it like a style.
Right.
So run a zigzag pattern to force them to change windage and elevation, right? To make it harder to hit you. Don't join the herd. That's what shooters gonna shoot at. The herd. That's easy pickings. Okay. Run from cover to cover. I talked about that the last time. But do it in short sprints. You're not running the marathon. Don't run like a block, because then it becomes easy to get you too. Even if you run the zigzag, they start picking up a pattern. So do it short. When you run behind cover or concealment, don't come out the same way you ran in. I talked about that, right? You can run cover to cover, concealment to concealment, cover to concealment, concealment to cover, right? Cover is always preferable over concealment. Concealment, it just hides me. If I'm behind a curtain or something like that. If I am hiding in the hallway, behind the wall, I peek, there's shooters coming. Am I in cover or am I concealment? Which one do you think that is? Is that cover or concealment?
When you hide behind what?
So I'm behind a wall. I peek. Here comes the shooter coming up the hallway.
That's concealment.
Yes, it's concealment. It can be cover for right now.
Right. But I mean,
if the wall will stop it, if I'm behind like a
that's what I was
concrete
gonna
wall.
say. Yeah, it would depend on whether or not they could shoot through it.
But inside, like wall, drywall or something, they'll pop right through that. I'm in danger. Unless they walking around with a shotgun, and then I gotta know that they got pellets, that they got shells, right? And then when they reach me, it's gonna be hell to pay if I don't move. And that's another thing. So don't just stay behind cover for too long. If it's possible, don't stay behind concealment. Don't stay behind it like I'm just gonna stay here all day. That may not be the move, okay? Because they will shoot through walls as well. Concealment is okay. Cover is best, and that is hard objects as possible. I can get behind the table, flip it over, get behind, but bullets gonna go through it, so it's not the best. Behind a tree is better. Behind a concrete wall, you're hiding behind a stairway. That's good because that's cover and concealment, and most cover is concealment too.
Okay.
Right, you're behind
right,
it, so
yeah, so they can.
But they may know. So concealment, you better hope they don't know you're back there.
Right.
Cover, they may know, they just can't hit you.
Okay.
And if you look around when you're behind cover, if you see there's another cover right there, I can run to that. If that cover, he can't see behind that cover, so I run to a different cover. So he said, I'm gonna move on this fool. And he comes around and he aims, you're not there. Right? So try to move as quickly as you can. Just do not move the same way you came into that cover or that concealment. All right. And then if you can't get cover, hide. Figure out the hiding spots ahead of time too. Just like you go to you frequent places, so figure out where you're gonna hide. If something happens in here, this is where I'm gonna hide at.
Right. And I actually greetings, Belays in the chat.
Hey, Belay, greetings.
Hiding is something that you may want to practice with your children. This is definitely something that I practiced with my son when he was small. And, we still talk about it now. We actually kind of break it down to like the principles of hiding. Certain, you want to make sure you're not sticking out. You want to make sure that you are just different things that we normally talk about as far as hiding goes. But, obviously some of these things are happening at school. So,
right.
You want to talk with your children about the best way to hide.
Now, someone said, don't walk with the woman by the curb, walk away from the curb. It's true. But some things we do to be chivalrous are dangerous. Like when you walk into the house and you open the door for your woman and she walks in first. Or into another venue. You open the door for your woman, she walks in first. You open the door to your house, she walks in. Somebody's in the house who was burglarizing the place. They see her, they bust her head to the white meat. You go in first. You go into a venue, you go in first. Okay.
Yeah, well.
When we go into restaurants, what I do is I open the door with one hand. Learned this from executive protection. Open the door with one hand, and I walk in. So I pass it. So I have the door pushed with this hand. I walk in first, survey, and then my wife comes in. When I give her a certain signal, okay? In the house, I walk in first. I look around, listen, and then they come in. Anybody who's ever dropped me off at home, I open the door, I stop right there, I listen first. I look, listen, and then I'll turn, wave, go in the house. You got to know what's going on first. Do not send your wife into, unless your wife's a better fighter than you are.
Mm-hmm.
Don't send her in first. And, if your wife's a better fighter than you, you got to, that's a decision you have to make. Is your ego going to allow you to do that? If she's better, or, she's the one that's strapped and you can't shoot your way, you couldn't shoot a target if it was 7 feet away. You might want to let her go in first. I don't know, but that ain't my reality. So I ain't doing that. Nor am I allowing any woman who's with me to do it. I don't care how well trained they are. Do I got ego? Yep. All right.
There's something else I want to
thank you, Eugene Mason.
Yes, thank you, Eugene. And he actually said this, that it's your job to protect her. And that is absolutely true. But one of the other members of the family was saying that that can lead to women not being as trained, or I'm sorry, I can't find it right now. But
oh my God. I'm sorry. Real quick. Comrade, I hope this isn't true. Opening the door for a woman was so they would get attacked and you could avenge them. That's what cold. That's cold. Go ahead.
But he's one of the other members of the family said that it can lead to women not being as trained as they should be. And that's true. I mean, you really have to help your man protect you. It's not that you just wear whatever, do whatever, you still have to be thinking about that yourself. And then, because it's a group effort, it's a team. So you want to be making sure that you're trying to make yourself as safe as possible. And then you also get the protection as well.
And let me tell you, brothers, do not. And it could be a situation your woman is more trained than you. But one of my students, she went out with a guy, and white dudes, big white dudes trying to bully him or whatever.
Oh, I'm like, she's not a white dude?
No. She get up off me, and she pulled her knife. The dude walks off.
Okay.
right? Like, hey, I don't want any problem. Yeah, I know you don't. She puts it up. The dude looks at her, clutching his pearls.
And that's
I can't
how
believe
you know.
and you carry a knife with you.
That's the least of where you should be carrying.
Right. And he clutching his pearls. I'm like, well, I hope you got gone. She's like, immediately. No second date for you, partner. So it's like, come on, brother. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Ominiki, tell them about the group of women that trains to faint in the face of danger. Oh, no, right. God, yeah.
I think I've talked about this before, but I shared it with Bele. And that's actually the first thing I thought about when I made the comment that I just made is that it's a group of women online. You know, it's to teach you how to be a wife. And one thing that they say is that, you know, if any danger comes, that a truly feminine woman would just faint. You know, and I guess
wife better not be fainting.
Right. I guess like your children, you know, I'm not sure what's supposed to happen after that, but I guess your help is always going to come. But they also teach that you should never go anywhere without your husband. So I guess, you know, you faint and your husband sees you faint, and then
he turned to Rambo.
Right, exactly. And he just jumps in. But you know,
you faint, that fool probably faint too. And now what?
One of the things that I asked the group, one of the members of the group was, you know, sometimes the front line comes to you. Like you may not train yourself to fight on the front line. You may not consider yourself a fighter. But sometimes it comes right outside your front door.
Or in your door.
Right. Or inside of your home. What do you do then? You know, and I guess you faint.
Yeah, that faint could be permanent.
Right, exactly.
I was sitting on the computer in my office. I looked out the window. I'm seeing movement. I look and you know, I'm seeing the movement looks kind of mauve kind of color. So I'm like, what the hell? Who got mauve skin? I look out. It's a bunch of white supremacists. They're marching with the Dixie flag through our neighborhood. It was an all black neighborhood. Now it's got, you know, like 3-4 whites on the block, but it was really it was a white 3-4 whites on my block, but it was none at that time. And I'm like, what the hell is goddamn neo-Nazis or whoever they are marching through, and they had military gear. Yeah, they had mob tone dudes, and they marching through the block. Like, what the hell is going on? So,
what if you're in your front yard? With
or a sister was walking right up the block. Right. What's she gonna do? Faint? Right. Why they stomped to the death?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing.
Faint, and she fainted, and I looked out and said, "Oh my God, the sister fainted."
Fainting
poor
is
thing,
not helpful.
Poor thing. If I see her and she looks at me and she goes, hey, I'm like, okay, well, damn, I just fainted in the house too. Get out of here. You better get up and help me fight. I'll help you then. I'll help you get into the house. Even if your fighting is poor. But don't faint on me. Right. Unless you really fainted.
Right.
I can tell that.
About that, right.
Right, but when she looks, oh, it's a man there.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to defend yourself first.
Yes, please. Like, don't do the fainting. And brothers, if you fainting, I mean, golly. All right, so unless you are actually fainting.
Right.
You know. And most people actually do not just faint unless some serious trauma came their way. Mm-hmm. You know, that's on TV. Right. You see a child born, you faint, you know, because that's your first child. I've had 8. I ain't never fainted. I got lightheaded. I've never fainted from seeing a child born. I've never fainted that I know of, and I've had strokes. And didn't faint. That's, you know, heat stroke. Now, I did pass out then. Men don't say faint anyway. We faint. That's like so. You know, but I was driving, still had the wherewithal to drive off the expressway up the hill, and I'm hearing the whole time. Beep, I knew I was going. Wow, I knew it because that's happened to me before. Right, in Phoenix. That's why I moved from Phoenix, to be honest with you. It was too hot. I drove up, got to the top, and look, I was driving a stick. Mm-hmm. I was out and it stopped, right? And I woke up and folks had to pull me out through the window. So that's how I survived.
Wow.
But that's the only, and you ain't gonna just, I'm not gonna just be just fainting or fainting. What they call them, fainting goats or whatever they are. They faint. It's a species of goat, and they just faint.
Yeah, I remember.
When they see prey and they'll faint, and the prey leaves. I guess the type of prey that they are around, because some prey would just eat that ass up.
Right.
But like a shooter, okay. Some shooters, by the way, will test that too. To test, one of the I think a little boy put blood on himself and acted dead in Uvalde, and that worked because the dude was trying to just get off, as many people as possible. I guess he had been through that area, so he laid next to some dead children or whatever. He was lucky.
Quick thinking.
Because a lot of times mugs check to see if people dead. It with a stick, slam the butt of their rifle down onto him or whatever. But I guess he was convinced he killed, the people, so he kept moving. So fainting is not an option. Try not to play dead either. Avoid dead ends. If you know there's no, unless you run into one guy, this is bad. But if you're running down the hall, you say, okay, this is the end of this hall. It doesn't turn nowhere or whatever. You might not want to go down that hall. Avoid dead ends. Or if you're running on the street and you see a sign, you just running, you're scared, you're not paying attention to the signs. Well, you best pay attention to the signs somewhat, because you also want to know where you're at. But if you see a sign that says dead end, don't go down that block. Don't do it to yourself.
Or you're going to immediately have to change strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Running to something else.
You're forced to fight. And that include dead ends, include bathrooms. When you run to a bathroom, bathroom doors can't be barricaded. And there's only one way out, the way you came. That's the wrong place. Do not go to a bathroom, okay? On barricading doors, if you do run into a room, it's got more than one exit, you want to barricade them. Unless, say I run into a room, it's got two exits. I want to go out that one, don't barricade that one. Unless you hear him at that one, right? Then you go out the window. You want to barricade as much as you can, but when you barricade, for God's sake, don't do the TV barricade, which you about to do. You about to do the TV barricade because that's where you saw barricades at. Most people, when I say barricade, think about it in your mind. See a barricade. Barricade, you push those chairs and tables up on that bad boy, the couch, all that, and you're wrong. Because also in those same movies, pay attention, he's slowly pushing it open. Whoever's pushing open, that's not a barricade.
Right.
To barricade a door, say if you at a school, because I remember Shirley said they didn't know how to teach them shit, because they ain't know shit, Shirley, if you're out there. You take, or in a house or whatever, but I'll say a school first. The tables like this, you don't stack them in front of the thing. What was 5 of them? They just push that open enough to get one person in. You push that table against the door. 1. You push this one behind the door. Behind this table. And do not stand in the middle because shooters like to shoot into doors. You get hit. Go up to the side. Push it in front of it. Push this one behind that one. Push this one behind that one. Push another table behind that one. Push chairs behind that. All the way up to the wall. So now all those things make a door stop. It's not going to open. That's how you barricade, y'all. You have to make a linear barricade that makes a door stop like that. That's how you barricade.
Yeah, that's wonderful advice.
Just so you know, okay? Yeah. TV, a lot of times get you killed. The people writing don't know what the hell they doing. They're not no goddamn special operators or nothing most times, writing. No. Or if they are, they know people are used to that. That looks good. Everybody get together and they piling up a bunch of junk.
That's what they do on The Walking Dead.
And The Walking Dead, they just the folks would be Walking Dead too.
Eventually, just push the door open.
Right, they push the door open.
Push it open.
Right, make the door stop. Zombies, what's going on? The zombies just go off somewhere because they can't get that, and they just leave because they couldn't get the. Right. If you did it properly, they wouldn't be able to open that shit. But yeah, a big group of them, hundreds of zombies just pushing.
Right. Trying to push that stuff aside eventually
because their weight gets through. Right. Now, if you got hundreds, eventually it may break through the wall. It may push it, but that take a lot. If it's 100 shooters, that's an army. That's not an active shooter. You got a different situation. Okay, so do the barricades properly. Okay. If you want to feel good, you do it properly. Then stack another table on top of the one at the door.
put a couch on it.
Right. Put a couch on it just so you feel better. Okay. But you don't have to do it. I'm telling you, the couch would do better to be in that line that you got there. Because a good heavy line, a couch would work beautiful.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
put the couch first, right? It's long, and then put the tables and stuff. That'd be great. Okay, so that's how you do a barricade, y'all. All right. And do it once like I said, off center, so I can push that right there. I don't have to stand in front of the door. This the door. I don't have to go like this. I can go to the side, push it over, because they often shoot through the door, especially they hear movement. They shoot into the door. Okay. Now, once you have it barricaded, look for other exits. You got time to think now. Okay. You know it's another door. If it's not easy, because he can easily just walk around there, or it may take him time that you maybe want to quickly just run out that way, right? But catch your breath, get your bearings, run out that door. If okay, you can just walk around the corner and get to that one, barricade that one too, if you can. Then you gotta, at that point, hang out for a while because you ain't getting in. If there's a window, get out through the window. In that case, so always look for, because that's a viable exit, the window. Right, definitely. Get out through the window, unless you're on the 7th floor or something like that. So be on the 2nd floor. You determine whether you think you can survive that drop. You may have to drop, or you don't. You stay in there, hunker down in that bad boy, and then start making makeshift weapons. Okay. Also, while doing that, in the meantime, put your cell phone on silent, not on vibrate. You can hear that. I can be in the next room and hear you can hear that. Put it on silent, and don't be, oh man, it's going down. It's going down. Somebody's shooting out here. We're in danger. Help us, comrade. You can hear that. That's not how you whisper. You don't whisper, hey, y'all. And you don't do that when you were young, fellas. And maybe some sisters did this. Girl walking by. Hey. She can hear you because that's not whispering. But if you want to say, that girl, fine. She walking by, you say, man, to your boy, man, that girl, fine. Like that. That's how you whisper. Hey. So you get on the phone and say, hey, comrade, we need some help. Mama, come over here with your baseball bat, mama. I need some help. Mama. Get me up out of here, mama. Help, mama. Mama, I don't want to sing. Mama, I want you to swing. That kind of thing. You talk low. But this, hey, we need some help. They can hear that. That is not whispering. That's loud as hell. That's not how you whisper. If we move in the hall, come with me. We're going to get out of here. Come with me. Come with me. Come on. Let's get out of here. That high tone can be heard for yards, hundreds of yards, sometimes you're trained to hear it, okay? So, and don't Instagram live it. Yes, please don't Instagram live, because the shooter may be looking. They're in room 315. Don't do that.
Right at the top of the comments there, Lola Arbins.
Bear Brown here. the best defense is owning a rifle and coordinating with 10,000 other people with rifles. Well, if I'm at a restaurant, if I could easily call 10,000 people and I can have my rifle with me right there, then that's cool. But that's not going to be the situation. Lola Arbins, that's not going to be the situation.
Oh, well, she responded.
No, your partner keeps a rifle in the vehicle outside the grocery store and keeps watch while you go in, buy your whatever. Now that's nice. If once again, if that's viable, that's not viable for everybody.
And you have to make a habit again, just like the women. Not that you're one of those women, Lola, but just like the women I was talking about who say that you can't go anywhere without your husband, or in most situations you should always be with your husband. I think for most people that's not something that they're able to always do, but it could work for some people.
Yeah. I mean, and it's usually not viable. Yeah, you're right. I pray whatever you do works for you. Okay. Absolutely. I'm just giving what I know. That's all I can do. Ask Jared Ball. I'm a nut, but I have a little wisdom. Thanks for sharing. All right, so immediately look for other exits. In the meantime, put your cell phone on silent, shut off lights, lock doors. Also, with the phone is dangerous, period, because when somebody calls, it will light up, even if you have it on silent, just so you know that. So if there's a window there and you got it dark, they can see that, just so you know.
So you can turn the light down in the phone
right,
also.
Exactly.
And that'll save the battery also if you need it later.
Right, exactly. Barricade any other doors and windows. Talked about that. Set your point of egress. Just remember that. And then get quiet and get as low in the room or as high in the room as possible. Don't have your torso an easy target if they start shooting through the walls or through the door. Okay. So get as low as you can, like laying on the floor, or as high. You're in the break room, or you do hide out in the kitchen, with the door or whatever. Most kitchens and restaurants or houses really don't have doors. So it's usually not something you're going to do. But if you some break rooms have doors, your workplace. This has happened. People have gotten on the refrigerator, laid on top of the refrigerator, and boom, shots all through there, shots in the middle of the refrigerator, everything, but they didn't get hit. So get as low or as high as possible. Just do not be in line with the shots. Okay, the shots are going to come from the middle most times. Even if they fire up like that, it's not going to be firing up high like that, or they're usually not going to fire down low. Unless you put it on Instagram. And then they say, oh, they lay on the floor. Don't do that. Fight. Now this is your last, and we're gonna have to show this. That baseball bat still over there?
Yes.
We'll use it as a rifle. Okay. Because, by the way, I do not show firearms. I think once I touched a firearm on one of these episodes. You're not going to catch me with a firearm in my hand like that. They got enough, they probably want to get me with, but as a black identity extremist, you're not going to get me like that. Picture me, and they act like that's me doing, the thing. I was watching
101.
I think somebody talking about the shooter, active shooters, how to deal with them. I knew it was going to be garbage. When I saw the shooter walking through like this, that's your chicken winging. And if the shooter's like that, they may be, because they may not be trained. He's terrible. This is not how you shoot a firearm, a rifle, by the way. You're chicken winging. Your elbow has to be down to be effective as you can be. Anybody can kill you now. So some fool shooting like this, they can kill you. But your elbow should be down. When I watch somebody making something like this for a college, I said, damn, they didn't even hire an expert. to teach on this. So, and I can't even tell you what they were teaching on because I just had to turn away when I saw that. That's just my personal bias. It may have been the greatest video ever with greatest information, but with that that tells me they didn't know.
Yeah, it's hard when you see something and you know the people don't really know the subject matter very well. And
Right.
the benefit that we have on this show is, we have someone who's actually been in combat. So there are things that you're gonna know when you've participated in combat that you just simply cannot know any other way.
And you can't unknow it either. So you can't just suspension of disbelief. You can only go so far. I can watch some TV shows and I see things, but that's something they're trying to teach somebody with.
Right. You get someone killed.
Exactly.
Trying to get them to suspend their disbelief in a combat situation.
Right. So you can't run or hide. Number one, if you can, recruit others. Can you get that baseball bat? Then you gotta make a plan. There ain't gotta be it's gotta be a quick plan. Like I hit them low, you hit them high. That's the plan. Know your level of violence, and we're about to come around here. Your level of violence has to be greater than your adversaries. Okay. Your level of violence. This thing is blocking. I can move. Your level of violence has to be greater than your adversaries.
And that, I guess I can come on camera. But what you were talking about as far as the sister who pulled the knife out, and the fact that the man who she was with was appalled by that level of violence, like that lets you know that he's not going to be able to protect her if the situation really happens. If you already are appalled by a certain level of violence, when someone comes up and is much more violent than you are and willing to be much more violent than you are, then you can't protect yourself, and you certainly can't protect anyone else.
Right. So that violence has to match. It has to match, and I say exceed the violence of your adversary. Okay. So you want to exceed the violence of your adversary. This is going to be a rifle for right now. Of course, Billy has, we had his house, he has an arsenal there. I'm seeing at least 200-300 rifles right there, and 87, 88 pistols on the floor, but we're not going to use any of those. That I can see. Okay. Somebody said thoughts on NAGA. That's the National African American Gun Association. Okay, NAGA goes by, I don't know if they still are, but they were a part of the NRA, National Rifle Association, which NRA has known white supremacists as part of it, high level in it and stuff like that. So, take that for what it is. NRA is, NAGA has a lot of police in it. So take that for what you take it for. You can learn from them, but I wouldn't give much of my information. That's why I'm not part of NAGA. I'm not giving them my information to them. But hey, we must not be sleepwalking in this reality. Exactly. As in, do you recommend that or any other organizations or have issues with them? There are several gun clubs you can join. U.S. military has white supremacists running show they still give the best training. Yes, I was in the U.S. military and had some of the best training they could give. Somebody asked me, do I recommend they go to the military? Nope. Okay. Now, people need to make certain habits, cell phone on silent, pay attention, yes. Staying quiet, yeah. So, a rifle. Just hold this like a rifle first. If you have two people, this is great. One says, okay, I'm going to go for their legs, while this person says, I'm going for the gun. God, it sucks. This sucks. It's dangerous. You're not a superhuman, but you're not superhuman, so you have to fight. You don't have much choice right now, right? So you want to get your hands on this tool. Don't worry. Folks behind you get shot unless it's your baby or something like that. You can't worry about none of that right now. You got to just control this. Keep damage to a minimum. You can't really worry too much about whether you get shot. You got to keep this, because one thing you can be guaranteed of: if you don't do nothing, you're gonna get shot. That you can guarantee that part. But you got to protect yourself. So two ways. Turn this way so I can show them. Three ways you can grab this. It can be both hands on top, one hand on top, one on bottom, or both hands on the bottom. Okay.
If they've been firing it, won't it burn you?
Yeah, probably. Who cares? Probably burn like a mug, but who cares? Okay. Now, and if they have a cheap AR-15 or whatever, you got some good AR-15, but a cheap one gets like a barrel or what. So I was shooting one of my students. I said, God damn. I had to put my shooting gloves on. Normally you don't shoot with gloves, but it was terrible. He didn't have a rail, a picking any rail on it either, so it was just hot as shit. Anyway, you grab this thing. Hey, get, move, and grab. So I got my arm on it.
And my hand is caught up under his
right.
arm also.
And I got here. So that's my training, but you don't have to worry if you don't get the hand in the arm. Okay, just get it, and then let gravity go to work. Drop. Now if they're so strong when you drop, they still holding you up on this mug. That's other problems you got right now. But drop. You still got control of this at least. Now I'm not gonna drop her. I'm heavier than her. But if you drop and they let go, at least you got control of this. Then it's like your choice. You turn around, you shoot it, or get up, hit them with the butt, run, whatever you're gonna use it. Or they go to the ground with you. The other person should be controlling that too. Okay, that's why if you got another person, you grab, they get their legs, and then they trying to pull away from you. You push into them, the other person's holding their legs, they'll fall. Just do not let go of this when they fall. Because if you do, and they still got it in their hand, then you start firing up into you, right? So you're going to have to hold on to this for dear life. And then drop. Okay? Don't try headbutting, kneeing, or whatever, unless you really train. If dropping doesn't work, you find yourself just hanging there like, a piece of fruit hanging from a tree, get back on your feet, and then you got to become Bruce Lee and all kinds of folks, right? Slam into them, slam your weight towards them, but keeping hold of this. So you keep control. If people are behind you, couldn't bring them down, which is usually you can if you drop your weight. You have to be a really strong motor scooter. You got to be really light. Like my grandbaby who's 5 light. Okay. So if they're shooting, if people are behind you, you can at least turn. Okay? You can turn them away from those shots. That's a window outside. You pray nobody's out there when they shoot. They start throwing knees. Shoot. Pray the police. Boom, shot goes, the police gonna start firing off. And your back's to it, you get hit. But just try not to let them shoot a bunch of people in the room with you.
I would also say this is where the argument, where people say, they don't train self-defense because they keep a gun on them and all that. This is where, that's shown to be faulty. Like, you have to be able to engage hand to hand with someone effectively and at least have some strategies to be able to bring them down if you're this close to them and you're trying to wrestle a gun away from them.
Because if I have a gun on me, I have two on me right now, but if I go for my gun, I just loosen that, and now I'm in trouble. I go for this loosen, and she hangs down, she aims it at my thigh or at my groin. Boom! I'm not gonna pull that tool most likely, right? If it's in this hand and I let go, I don't have control both ways. Now she can slam that into my face. Okay? So take control, two hands, and drop. After you drop, now you pull your pistol if you want to. Or you can use this.
And the dropping that he's doing, it's uncomfortable. Like, I mean, this is just going into me from the bat, but the butt of a rifle,
right, pushing that,
would be extremely uncomfortable.
And then I'm dropping. So that's raking on her. It's pressure against her fingers, here. Okay, dropping there. You grab it here, that's fine, right? You hear, whatever, and then just drop. Okay. I don't want to be too technical with it. But if I'm going to be technical for those that are somewhat trained, you drop this shoulder that's closer to them first. You see that difference there from this. It's not as much weight here, but here, there's a lot more weight.
Yeah, you're moving now.
So I go towards them, then drop. Okay? But you can just drop. You're going to get this and really over, under is the best way. Over under like this, I don't really like that, but that's all you got. I prefer, I got more control like this. Okay. Over.
Definitely not shooting you if it's under your arm pointing back.
Right. Here, you can move it around. You drop, once again. Drop, keep your arms close to you, drop. A lot of times, persons like this, they'll try to do that. And that's just not doing nothing right. So this is your best, but just get it and control it, move them, do what you got to do, and then drop to the ground. If it's two people, you got them now, because once you push back, that person's controlling their legs with it. Just hold them to the legs. They hold the legs, boom. Okay. Once they're on the ground, you have to control their spine. Anytime you ground fight, you control the spine. That's the big secret. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu folk may disagree with me. They say control the hips, and I say that is controlling the spine. Two ways you control the spine: through the head, turn around here. If I move here, spine moves. Or if I move the hips, spine moves. The easiest way is through the hips, because a lot of times you may move your head, person fighting. Hips are easier to take control of, particularly on the ground. Okay. So that person that's holding, well, you can turn around. The person, if she was on her back, and I just laid on her legs, that's hard for her to get out. The harder if I scoot up and lay across your hips while holding your knees, she's not getting out of that. It'd be difficult. Even her doing that to me, and I'm heavier and stronger, it'll be difficult because you got control of my hips. If I try to scoot this way, you put your hand there so I can't scoot that way. Your body's against me this side, I can't move. I'm stuck. So he's stuck by the person that's controlling the lower body. The upper body has the tool. And now you determine what you're going to do. Are you waiting for the police to come? You're so nervous, your finger accidentally hit the trigger and you shot him. Are you going to knock him out with the butt of the tool? Whatever it is, okay? That's how you handle that. Somebody I know got killed driving down a dead street, mid-morning. He got detoured and wasn't familiar. That's what I'm saying, avoid dead ends. Okay.
Yeah, I've actually seen that happen quite a few times. I live in a more, I guess, country-ish, rural type area, and people come driving through different streets down there, And sometimes there's not a good sign to let you know that the road is ending. And I mean, all the time you see flowers, and you know how people do the whole kind of dedication with teddy bears and all that. You see that because people just run off the road and into the side of a hill. And I mean, that's very difficult to survive. So yeah, you just gotta be aware of your surroundings, especially if it's a place that you don't know.
Always. Do your best to train. If you have people in your city that can train you, train. Um, I'm always praying that people find good teachers,
Right.
wherever they may be at.
Yeah,
We're open to travel, as you know, things are opening up. It's not post-COVID, but it's not as strict as aren't there. Still got to be careful though. Now, be careful out there. But so we're open to travel and teach as well. We're in Atlanta. People can come to us too, but you know.
one other thing I'd like to say, and it was regarding I'm not familiar with the NAGO organization. I'm a little familiar with the NRA, but one thing I'd like to say about that is there's a sister who I only know her from Facebook, though she has lived in Atlanta, but she lives on the West Coast now. And she was talking about how when she was here, that she was in an organization where they were training with guns, and I think they were getting their concealed carry permits or something like that. And so they brought someone in from the NRA to train them, and it was supposed to be like a 2-day thing. And this is, you know, people like us, people with African names, you know, everyone in the class is like that. People with, you know, locks all over the place, like, you know what I'm talking about. And the sister said that the first day the man came and trained them and all that. But the second day, which is when I think they were supposed to really get into it so that they could get their certifications and stuff, like he just didn't show up, you know? So you're talking about depending on training from people who do not have your best interest in mind, who you know don't have your best interest in mind. Like, I mean, we have to work a little bit harder and make sure that we, like Baba said, like that we find good teachers.
And that's also USCC.
You know, by in principle, you know, that really are trying to see the best for us.
I'm gonna tell you, a friend of mine. Well, I thought he was a friend of mine. I won't say it, but working on some things with him, and I was going to teach one thing, he's going to teach another. Until this dude asked me, had I ever killed anyone? I said, well, you know, I was in the Army. I knew he was in the Army too. He was a 98 Charlie, which is a field operative for the Army, military intelligence, field operative. Okay. But I'm like, why is he asking me? I said, well, you know, I was in the Army, and that's all I said. Later on, he asked me again, but I had looked into him, and I found out that he was actually a candidate for the FBI to go to the academy. He asked me again. I said, don't ever ask me that question again. Because now I'm wondering about you. What do you mean? I said, nothing. And we just talked about stuff that had nothing to do with what we were doing, and I made sure never to see him again. He probably was getting information. Now, I mean, he wasn't talking about my military history. He was talking about post. So he could get information on me. You got to be careful who you're training with. So when I say, you know, the NRA got police and stuff, yeah, so the military has all kinds of people in it, and do not go to the military to get trained unless you're not going to be around us no more, or around your people. I don't know. I don't know who, you know, these are people that are online. A lot of people, we hope that they're cool, but certain questions,
right,
And I'm not shy about saying that. Certain questions, I have to question you. I don't care how you feel about it because shit is too crucial for us to endanger ourselves or say certain things. I'm not going to recommend people to go into the belly of the beast because I love my people.
And I mean, the thing that we hear about people going into organizations and changing them from the inside, like, we know that that's false. You go in and you get caught up in whatever they're doing, it's bigger than you, you know?
Yes.
That's just what happens. So that cannot be our strategy.
Even when I went to the army, okay, I was an 18 Foxtrot. You can look up what that is. But I thought that, I can learn, from them. They wouldn't know nothing about me. And I get out, I teach my people, and they would be none the wiser. Right? Spook was sat by the door. That shit don't work. That's a movie.
Right, in a book.
And a book. Right. Now, I'm in basic training. I haven't gone nowhere beyond basic training. They called me in to speak to CID, Criminal Investigation Division. What the hell? I don't know nothing. What? They said I was part of a certain organization. And they said, are you such and such? I said, yes. They know who I am. They said, and you're part of so-and-so? I said, yes. And, he's not. He said, you're part of so-and-so? I said, yes. He said, yeah, have you ever, well, first he says, those are bad people. Adam, my government name. I don't have my government name. Bad people, Adam. I said, no, you're not going to give me nodding my head with you on that. I said, no, I wouldn't be part of anything that had bad people. He said, well, have you ever engaged in terrorist activities? Or have you ever killed anyone or harmed anyone for the organization? I said, if I did, because you've already done your research, I'd already be in chains. So you know better than that. And that organization doesn't do that. And I don't know anybody who's ever done it in my life. Now I'm from Chicago on the west side. Of course I knew people who had taken somebody out of here. But I wasn't telling them that, and they knew that. I wasn't, I don't, They said, all right, Adam. All right. They said, you're very clever, Adam. Like that. I said, I tried to be. All right, Adam. So that was basic training. So by the time I got done with what I was done with, for 20 years, I didn't speak on nothing. I taught martial arts, but I wouldn't go to a range with other folks, nothing. Okay, I was being careful. And believe me, the things I say now, I'm being careful because you got people out there who will put your ass away forever. One of my doctors was put away just for helping folks. Took her license, everything, then put her in prison for helping people. She was the lucky one though, because a lot of them, 54 people who did the same thing she did were murdered. Be careful out here. Stay chiseled out here, y'all.
Peace, Big Till. Good to see you.
Peace, Big Till. Yeah, this is standard police, FBI, asset questioning. I get it. Lola, you seem angry or defensive or whatever. Be whatever it is you are. If you feel that I'm insulting you and talking about you, feel what you feel. Feel what you feel. Tell Jared I said hello. I'm white and from Texas. I understand about organizations like NRA not being dedicated to black protection. As such, shouldn't creating black social equivalence be a goal? White. What you think about what should be our goal is inconsequential. And if you're an ally, just sit back and learn. And like Kalanja always says, we need more than allies. We need comrades. Okay, so and if you're not white and just being facetious or sarcastic, You can take that shit somewhere else. I'm going to be real with you. You say you know Jared? Tell him I said hello. I know him too. That's my comrade. That is my comrade. That's my brother. Never mind. Be well. Peace. All right, y'all. Be safe. Love y'all. We ended early today because, this is a part 2 and we did all we did with that. And
please watch last week's episode.
Yes.
Like I said, excuse me for my technical difficulties, but the information that Baba gave was excellent. So you definitely want to take advantage of having access to that.
All right, y'all. Love y'all. Be safe.
Peace, family.
Peace.
Love y'all.
Stay black or whatever it is you may be.